up, guys? Tambo here with your weekly core report. Water is wet and RPS members are shipping as usual. Our NBA content has been on fire since the beginning of the season. I kicked off the week by shipping a WFBBC seat on FANDUEL using a low-owned Isaiah Livers recommended on the Premium Final Countdown show.
I hope he comes off the bench because I know for a fact they love this kid. They're going to give him run no matter what. They're probably going to push him, and he's $3,100.
Our premium content comes through big time, whether it's our up-to-lock shows, heat maps, core plays, or playbook. Join us today so you can start shipping too. I wasn't the only one shipping a seat last week. Our guy Locke secured a DRAFTKINGS NBA Live Final seat as well. AP's core plays from Sunday helped a bunch of members win too. Junior hit for $3,000, while Nick Story shipped for over $15K. Steve Boynton used our core plays and playbook to make a late swap that won him $3,000 in NBA. And Punisher used the NBA heat map to ship $100,000 on DraftKings. As always, subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the like button on this video as well. Keep the good mojo going. Our NFL dominance continued into week 8 as well with some big wins. D-Hops shipped for $4K on FanDuel. EjoCam won $5K. And Dirty Deeds 30 hit for $7,500. Some of our best screenshots aren't necessarily the huge scores. Bankroll building is a big part of becoming successful, and we love to see the good ROI hits too. Cusp Love illustrated this perfectly, turning $2 into $800, while Wes turned $18 into $2,500 on DraftKings, and Jalapeno turned $198 into a monster $77K. His Great Pizza brought the great mojo in Cincinnati. Congrats again to all our members. If you want to be featured in the core report, drop your winning lineup in the Members Never Win channel in our premium Discord. If you're not a member, join now. You won't find a better value with all sports included for one low price. Remember, if you're not winning with us, you're watching us win. Until next time, let's keep running pure. What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, aka Toe Tag and Tambo, back for another edition of the second last edition, actually, of the swing season for the Strokes Gain Show here on the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel. Joined as always by my guy Kurt. And Kurt, bring you in right away, man. We had a pretty good week last week. The members, the cores were solid. We were right up at the top. I ended up finishing, myself and another member, but there was a couple others with us too, 4th place in the main $20. So we're looking to go back to back. I know a lot haven't even heard of the Cadence Bank, but they've heard of the Houston Open. So skip the first part of what the event is. We're at the Houston Open. It's going to be a fun one this week, man. How you doing on this fine Tuesday afternoon?
Doing good. It was another great week to bankroll building golf. I got some tickets, a 2.5x my money. It's like the second week in a row. I think the week before last I was 3x. So want some more tickets? I mean, you can't get nothing wrong with that. I had a bad week of college football, so it's nice to kind of get that bankroll padded come Sunday evening.
Yeah, and man, look at the leaderboard right quick. We're not going to do a huge recap, but Henley was in the core. We talked about him just being extremely underpriced. I bet him at 50-1, so that was
you
awesome.
Got me on him late. So like, you said he's going to be low owned. I was like, we haven't had a low owned Henley at all swing season. He's been pretty popular. So I was like, a low owned Henley, I'm in. You got me. And
again, we not like you needed him to close. Like he went well beyond what we would ever expect. I thought Scotty was going to ship it. Henley was sort of my guy down the board, and he was 8,400. So he's basically the average price tag on DraftKings, but we liked him. Joel Damon, we liked. Harmon was up there. We liked Scheffler. You talked about Gordon and Merritt. Merritt was high on your list, but Gordon was saying go back to the well, a little flop lag. He came through. I talked about Seamus Power, how off a win when a guy goes to a lower price. And we'll talk about that with Henley here in a minute because Henley's coming off a win, but now goes to a much higher price. Power went down. And that, for whatever reason, like I said, there's been a decent sample on it, looked up in the past. And it basically says when a guy wins and then goes to a cheaper price, they usually come through. It's like 65% of the time or 70% of the time they come through and make value. He came through again, T3. So just a lot of guys up the board. Lipsky, T10 in the core, just a bunch of dudes. So we'll get into this week, but I just thought that was something to talk about off the top. We definitely had a really good shot at it last week. You talked about building up the bankroll. That's what it's all about. You can't win every slate or every week, but you can make that money get some profit, get some tickets, whatever it may be. You should definitely be playing those satellites and those cues into the bigger tournaments. That's how oftentimes people say, how they got their first bankroll or their first big win is off like a $9 ticket into a 555. First few times it fails, but maybe the fourth or fifth time they do it, they scoop 20 or 30K. Now they have a real bankroll to work with and can play from the $1 to the $5 or something like that. So you can talk a little bit more about that, Kurt, if you want. I know you're big on it, and you definitely are a bankroll builder, a grinder every single day in the streets, especially in PGA here now. So it's good to see. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, every sport. I mean, almost every sport I try to enter like every single entry that's like somewhat affordable. I don't go and do like the 333 or the $200 single entry. Well, I do sometimes, but like when we're not in swing season, I'm pretty much doing all the single entries in golf. But yes, just like the low dollar single entries, I like to sometimes. I also like to attack the stuff that other like you and other people can't get in yet, because I know I'm probably getting up there and not being able to enter those contests. So I'm trying to attack the shit out of those while I can.
Yeah,
it probably won't be too much longer. So yeah, I like to attack those, but all the single entry, man, just bankroll build. I don't do cash gains, but I'm able to build it up even just through GPPs and single entry stuff. And also knowing that what contests that Tambos and guys like that can't get into is a nice way to build your bankroll.
Yeah. I always like, to me, it's again, you should always build for what your goals are. If you want to be a really good 150 maxer, you should start at the lowest 150 max you can.
Yeah.
All in, get on it, use an optimizer, learn how to shake it out. And then as you build up the bankroll, then you could put it into the higher buy-in of the same 150 set. If you want to get good at 3 max, do that. Work on your 3 max at the lowest up, $5 3 max or $3 3 max, whatever you can get into, $1, whatever it is that you can do where you can get better at it. But even for myself, I think you should always be working on everything. And I work a lot on it because, you get into something like the 555, the 888, or the Fantasy Golf World Championship, and you've got 2 or 3 entries in it. You only got those entries. You can't go lean back on your MME set where you can play different angles and different, you use your portfolio in different ways. So I agree with you on that 100%, man. Is there anything else on last week or anything there that we talked about strategy-wise, building up your bankroll, anything like that you want to talk about before we hop into this week?
So yeah, I didn't want to max the drive the green during swing season. So, and the 50 cents too small. So until we're into the normal season, like the regular season, I'm not going to max drive the green. So what I've been working on is my single entry builds for PGA, my 3 entry max builds. And I've already seen the difference the way I make builds from my 3 entry max last year to this year. It's already improved. So just taking the time to like work on things. I mean, because it's the off season for them, but it can be the off season for us. Like maybe if you're someone who I got the chance to practice my MMEing during the regular season last year, but maybe you use this time. The contest is too small. I don't even want to do it. But if you're just practicing it, I've already got my practice out of the way. But if you're practicing the opposite of me, you want to practice 150ing, this would be a good time to do it. I mean, it's $75. So what? I mean, the prize is pretty shitty, but you're still getting that chance to work out the kinks before the regular season. Or maybe if you're like me, you want to get the practice with the 3 entry max, do that as well.
Yeah. And one last thing I'll add, just one thing you should always do, no matter what you're working on, you should definitely always work on a single entry strategy. Like I said, if you somehow bink that $9 into a 555 ticket, I've had so many people message me, DM me, whatever, when they get that they're so nervous, don't know what to do, never played a buy-in that high. I'm overthinking it, all this. Of course you are, but you never practiced for what would my best single entry be if that day came. So I would say work on that no matter what. Even if you're playing 150 at the smallest level, try and figure out which lineup is your single entry and put it into the $3 or the $5 and work on it that way so that you can start to build a process for picking one if you had to. So that's it for that, man. We can move on to this week. Like I said, Houston Open, it's a good one. It's a decent field up top, but it's another one, Kurt, where as we expect with these swing season events, you got 4 or 5 names, and then we'll know a bunch of the names through the middle. But for everybody else, it's 3 or 4 names up top, then it drops off a cliff. So keep that in mind when we're talking some strategy stuff as well. But anything you want to talk about first, Kurt, on the course? Do you have any thoughts on the course itself, stats, stuff you're looking at for this week as we hop into the tiers?
Yeah, so short game is pretty important here. I mean, obviously anyone who gets a hot putter wins the tournament, but like short game is a little bit more factored in here. It's another one of those courses where it's long as hell, but driving accuracy is extremely important. So you want someone that you don't want someone to hit it really short, and they also got to hit it accurate. So you really want an all around game here. That's what I got from it. I mean, it's going to be difficult to score. So I looked at guys who can score in difficult, like relative to par. And also you get the wind coming in. I didn't know that until this is the first time I actually got to listen to your and Kenny's show before I come on here. So I hope I can play devil's advocate this time a little bit. But yeah. So apparently we're looking at 20-mile-per-hour winds. So I want to look at that too. So, I mean, it's not going to be Southern Hills because Southern Hills are ridiculous. But I mean, ish, I guess, a swing season version of what Southern Hills was like, I suppose. And we got that kind of like experience dealing with the wind when they had that like Tulsa and Texas swing last year. So I know how to deal with it. I'm excited. I hope you guys remember that stretch. But yeah, that's about it. Just you don't really want guys who can't score. And for example, like Munoz, I usually play him on easy courses. I'm not going to be someone I'm on this week.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get through it when we go to the tiers. One thing to say is for sure the weather is a factor anytime you're in Texas. So especially at this spot. So if you want to wait till the very last second to make your lineups, look at building some wave stacks if you want, no matter what, even if you don't see weather and you say, oh, there is no clear advantage. That's the thing that can just go away in a heartbeat, and there can be an advantage. So I would keep that in mind when you're looking at it right now. The look ahead for me, not looking too crazy, at least as of yet. It looks like it's pretty balanced on Thursday from sort of that 8 a.m. on. It looks like 8 miles per hour, maybe some gusts up to 12 to 15. Friday, very similar. Around late afternoon, it does pick up a little bit with the gusts, but again, 8 to 15. So I don't see nothing that worries me there too much as of now. But like I said, anytime you're in Texas, I got no problem with you guys building some wave stacks. I'll probably have some myself as we go throughout, just a way to look at it a little bit differently and get yourself on, maybe off some of the chalk, even though you don't care about that chalk and you're playing it elsewhere. It's just some of your lineups, you naturally wouldn't have it when you build like that. So let's hop into these tiers, man. The biggest discussion piece, we had a little back and forth. My guy Harry, he's in the chat. I see him there now chatting it up, agreeing on some of the stuff. We weren't agreeing on everything today, though, but that's a different topic. The Discord is fun. If you guys aren't members over at Run Pure Sports, now's the time. Head on over to runpuresports.com. You can use promo code RPSHeater25 for your first month. Get yourself 25% off on that monthly plan. It's the best way to get in, and it's the best way to join, too. People keep asking me, obviously, if you can afford the annual, it works out to way cheaper. Hoop was talking about it on the last show. It's like $65 a month if you do the annual. That's incredible value for the entire year. All sports, one price. Other sites are charging $600 for one sport, golf. So just to give you an idea, that is the best value. But if nothing else, always go on the monthly plan, because weekly, you're not going to get enough out of it. It's great to join and see what's going on, but if you think you're just going to find the winners on the first week you join, it's not always the case. Maybe, but if you get in there for a month and actually use the site as you should with the heat map, the playbooks, the core plays, which are, I'm not going to get into them right now, but all the things that we're doing to help members expedite the process, simplify the slate. I always say that, but it is true. But in the Discord, once you get in there and get ingrained in that culture and around people that want to win like you and want to learn and to get better at DFS and betting and all those factors, that's what you're really going to take away from it. It takes time to learn that stuff. There is no magic button that you can just click. So I would always suggest the monthly. Check it out. You can use that code, get in there. Lots of stuff going on right now. We had a huge NFL last night. The previous show to this, they actually had the winner on, solo shipped. The big dollar contest on DraftKings last night for Showdown, won the $500,000 for first place. So congrats to Trevor. He was on there. A great night for a lot of members, coordinators, myself, Locks, a bunch of others out there. It was just an incredible night. So get in now while you still can. It's a great time to do it. Kurt, going back to it, the discussion we had in the Discord today was Scotty Scheffler. Okay, Scotty Scheffler is $11,500 this week. He is, to me, completely mispriced. And why I say that, he's 5-1 to win the tournament. Vegas odds are not everything, but the point I said to, off the top, Scotty, Burns, Finau, Matsuyama, sure, last week's winner, Henley, Wisen, Montgomery are playing some good golf, Jason Day, whatever, but it's a huge drop-off. The thing is, though, DraftKings won't price a guy at $14,000 or $13,500 based on those odds. They price it all that they can only go to a certain max, no different than at the bottom. You got guys at $6,000 that could easily be $3,500 or $4,000. But they don't do that. It's not their pricing structure. So the biggest conversation is, what do you think about Scotty Scheffler? First of all, what do you do with Scotty Scheffler? And then do you care if he's 30% versus 40? I personally don't, but I want to get your take anyway. So go ahead.
Yeah, I would love to come on here and give the GPP bro take, but there's multiple factors into why I don't give a shit what he gets. Unless he's 80%, I don't give a shit. You got to think, my two factors are, I think he found the putter, and that's really the only thing that was, causing Scotty to not be Scotty. He switched back. I think I heard on Rick say that he switched back to the old putter and he got hot with it Sunday, definitely, maybe Saturday. So, and we talked about how we don't want to be late on Scotty. So of course we were both on him last week. And then you throw that in, and you got the fact that it's a tough course. And on those tough courses, as we've seen on majors and stuff, the top tier golfers kind of shine on the tough course where people aren't just going out there scoring like crazy.
Four full days, right? He got time to get there.
Exactly.
That's the difference. They're going to play the best over 4 days. That's why we like John Rahm makes fun of, this effing putting contest. It's like, we get it. In a putting contest, guys like him, Zalatoris, can get beat when it's just guys out there going at pins all day and it's an easier scoring setup. When it is harder, these skill sets shine through more over the 4 days. You got to get them through the first two, though. Top 65 and ties here. Continue on, but you're right. You're dead on.
Yeah, I agree. Just same thing. I was going to actually use the John Rahm reference. You just like give him 4 days in tough conditions I'm sorry, but well, that too. But in a place where you're not going to go out there and just be a putting contest. And I like my chances. And at 11.5, it's just like, I mean, come on, man. Of course, like you got to just get overweight. Are we just going down or is that it?
Do 10K and up. Yeah. Cause Henley's a conversation coming off the win. Matsuyama, Finau look to be going overlooked just because Finau, not the best, hopefully knocked the rust off last week. We'll see. But then also you got Burns, who is coming off seventh place 2 weeks ago. And he's got 2 7th places here the last 2 years. So it looks like he's getting the next amount of love after Scotty Scheffler. Could still come in at half the ownership of Scotty, though. I will say that.
Yeah, I'm doing the old Tambo take of like, I'm going to be on all these guys. Like Sam Burns, short game. I mean, short game is important here. Sam Burns is one of the best players on earth. So give me Sam Burns. Tony let me down last week. I had a beautiful 5 out of 6 with Tony, but I don't care. I like Tony. I think the fact that this is a tougher course, it might like them even better. Same thing with Hideki. Like all these guys are so talented that it makes me like them even more so. That's a tough course. Henley. Yeah, I mean, the guy gets his first win and now he's 10K. I believe he has decent course history here, but I don't care. I won't be on Henley. Even if he's super low owned, I'll just no. Sorry.
Yeah, he's tough for me to go back to because of that. Kenny talked about it last night. I said, I don't think there's any way with Henley. And then I wake up today and see just doing my stuff to get ready for this, where I'm much more dialed and nobody's playing him, like literally nobody. So, I do worry though, coming off the win, not because everyone always talks about, like Kenny does this all the time. I love him, but it's like, he's not going to party. Like, I don't think anyone does really. Like some guy, Harry Higgs wins a tournament. He's going to party for sure. But I'm saying Henley, I think, what is he, 36 years old or 34 years old? Like it's like if I win a DFS tournament, I'm not partying that night. I got my kids, my wife, we wake up the next day, we do it all again. We grind. It's just part of what we do. And that's what I see with a guy like him. He is absolutely dialed. The issue is also though, Kurt, the price went up. So now you have to have more go with it. It's only, and I definitely say only here, I don't care how you take it, only $1,500 more to go to Scotty Scheffler. You can find $1,500. There's guys at 8,300 that are no different at 7,100. So you can find the money anywhere you want down here, whatever you want to use for the exact math. I'm just giving an idea of ranges to point it out, 6,800. But the fact I'm saying is you can find a lot of guys down below. And that's the thing with Scotty for me. So, I mean, play as much as you want with Scotty. I'm not an all-in guy. I never lock a guy. I just like to have those outs. I build some wave stacks. He can't be in those, like examples why I'm never all in. But I got no problem going 60, 65% Scotty this week, being way over the field. And I explained this to Harry, not that he needs it. By the way, Harry is birdie monster, absolute crusher at PGA DFS, won the 250K plus last year. He's almost won the 100K 3 or 4 times, regular in the Discord, always helping out other members. Another reason, like I said, to be a member, get in the Discord. You've got other very sharp players that are sharing their thoughts and strategies, and you can learn just as much from them throughout the random of a day. And especially swing season right now, there's only like 15 and 20 of us chopping it up consistently. There's hundreds coming in and out throughout the week, but people that are chopping it up on a daily basis, a smaller group of like-minded individuals trying to learn as much as possible about one particular sport. And then you just hop over to the hockey channel. Hockey channel is pumping today because there's no NBA. So lots going on over at RPS, but it was a great example. And we talked about this. Everyone does this. So 2 things they do with an example. We're spending time on Scotty because he's a big piece of this slate. Scotty, 35% owned. Everyone says like, oh, the chalk got there. It's chalk Scotty. Well, 65% of you didn't play him. So he wasn't that good of a play. Like, it's not like you didn't go crazy on him. Others didn't go crazy on him. Like, yeah, he's the favorite to win at 5-1. Maybe that should make you own him a little bit more. Who knows? That's what I'm trying to say. I still have him at almost, even if I bump him to 40% ownership, I have him as a better play than Sam Burns, just based on the way I do stuff, proprietary to my stuff. But I do see him as a really good play, even up to 40% ownership. So I'm okay with him and getting overweight. You do it how you want to. The second part we talked about was everyone says the same thing. And it's great advice for beginning, like someone be coming into PGA DFS, this advice is very good. When someone says you should get overweight on everyone, get leverage. That's true. But what that really teaches someone, the only way to get leverage on everybody is if you tighten your player pool. I highly recommend that if you're just coming into PGA DFS, one of the first things you learn to do is tighten up your player pool. And the reason is because then you will have those spots where you get leverage. And at least if you have the right pool and get there, you have more outs to the top, so on and so forth. It's very beneficial. But what I don't agree with is when someone says, if you're overweight, if you just play 35% Scotty this way, you're paying the rake. It's not true. And I'll tell you why it's not true. And again, we don't not as many watch these shows in the fall swing, so that's okay for me. I'll say it all. But here's the thing: if I build 30% Scotty lineups and someone else builds 35%, use a smaller number, 25% me, 35% them. They build 35% Scotty lineups with all chalk, cash game style lineup, just the safest plays of the week. There's a bunch of those Scotty lineups out there. Do you want the pool with the 35% Scotty and all those chalk lineups, or do you want my pool with 25 or 30%, whatever, a lower percentage, underweight? I'm not over or getting leverage, but they're built accordingly, more positive EV, better lineups to get yourself to the top. I would take my pool every day of the week, and the success is shown with it. So that's what I'm trying to explain to people when they say, oh, I got to go all in or fade. You don't if you build your lineups accordingly. We try and help you with that and teach you those things where you can build Scotty, but then don't go jam in every other chalk play down the board with him, because even if he wins, you've got some bust rate in there somewhere. It's very rare that we see all the chalk be in the winning lineup at the top. So any other further thoughts on that, Kurt? If people have questions, they can throw them in the chat and I can elaborate more, but we talk about this stuff in the Discord at RPS. Go ahead, Kurt.
No, just the fact that like be overweight on Scotty, but like in golf is the only sport where like just don't go all in on anyone, because other sports it's like, well, unless this guy fouls or gets injured, like he's going to get there. So you can go all in on guys in other sports, but in golf, like, no, I mean, there's no need to go all in on somebody, but be overweight on Scotty. He's a great play this week.
Yeah. The chat asked to our guy, Go Collect, said, I'm thinking, 30 to 45, somewhere in that range. If you got 150 golfers in the field or 132 or something like that, you can play 30 to 45, no problem, and still spread it out. That to me is fine. And that was my other point, is like, if I'm at 35% Scotty, and I'm not going to be this week, I'm going to be overweight. But my point is, even if I was this week on him, like Joel Damon last week, he's a value play, so it's a bit different example, but I didn't need leverage on him. I played the field on him. I played all those other guys, Henley overweight, JJ Spawn overweight, Sig overweight, Scotty overweight, Henley overweight last week. And so when he falls into the build, it's already with a bunch of other guys that I think are great plays that I'm getting huge leverage on them. I don't have leverage on every single guy in my pool, and I can still get those lineups to the top. It's worked pretty well for me. So I'll just say that with Scotty this week, I think for me, probably 60 to 65%, because I think he's just much better than all the guys below him. The other guy I like, Kurt, though, is Tony Finau. Hoping he knocked the rust off from last week, just looking at it. It's ownership plays into it a little bit, but I never really do anything just because of ownership. I still think he's a good play here. And I used this example last night. I'll repeat some of the stuff we'll repeat, but miscut and 24th here coming off the miscut. But when you go to Sam Burns, the history here is better, 7th and 7th. He's coming in off of 7th. But if you go back to the same timeline when they were actually playing heavily through the playoffs, you look at Burns, 24th, 19th, 20th. Very safe, very consistent. We know he has winning upside. But I don't think any different of Tony Finau, who in that same time frame had the same 28th to Burns' 24th, but then he had a 9th and a 5th. So the upside is still just as much there, but he's probably coming in 7 to 10% lower than Burns. His stats still look good to me. He suits the course. I like Tony at tougher courses. We've seen him perform at a lot of majors versus we haven't seen Burns perform well at majors. And this is not a major. My point is more of what we talked about earlier, where it can happen that way and things can go poorly for you. Not to mention Burns is $300 more. So not that you need the money, but if you're picking one, you do still save another $300. So I'm happy to go to Tony Finau up top here with Scheffler as well. Anybody else, Kurt, you want to talk about up here? Anything else you want to hit on before we go to this 9K range?
Yeah, I'll probably match the field or be slightly over on probably all these guys, honestly, because I'll find my punts like I always do. I mean, Troy Merritt's a good example of that last week. Yep. But I'll play Hideki too. I like him at tough courses. Off the tees, it scares me a little bit, but everyone hates Hideki. They never play him. So I'll be easily overweight on Hideki. Last thing about what you said about playing Scotty last week, another way to get different, like you said, having Scotty with a different pool. I had 50% Troy Merritt last week. He was sub 1%. Do you think I gave a shit what Scotty was on last week because I had 50% Merritt? No, not at all. I mean,
you can do that here. That's my exact point, though. If you got 50, even if someone wants to play 40% Scotty this week, they don't want to fully commit, you could play 40% Scotty, and then you're going to have all these guys down below. Since you're now playing like a Stars and Scrubs style, you're going to have, there's no way you're not going to be way overweight on all these guys in the 7K range that are all 6 to 10%. You're going to have 15% of a bunch of them or something along those lines. And then you're going to have 8 to 10% on a bunch of 2% plays. So you do have your leverage. It's just in a different spot. So just my 2 cents on it, but we can carry on, Kurt. Let's go to this 9K range because it doesn't mean it's a great range, but there's a lot of good names in here that people are going to want to talk about. Aaron Wise, Taylor Montgomery. This top 15 run continues. Another 10th place for Taylor Montgomery. Jason Day, back-to-back events, back-to-back solid events now for him. McNeely looks really good. 19th and 20th here the last 2 years. 10th, 18th, 12th, 10th the last 4. And then you've got Thigala, big upside, waiting for the season, starting off. We've been waiting for him to do something in one of these spots. I'll talk more on him in a minute. Denny McCarthy is 9,200. Grillo is 91. And then Joel Damon with the price bump as well. But Joel Damon is another guy that you could go to here and seems to be getting a little bit of love off of last week. So talk to me about this 9K range.
So Aaron Wise, I mean, like I said, I know I'm playing a lot of guys up top, but it's because this middle range is a dead zone for me, as it'll probably be for most others, but I don't care. So I like Aaron Wise at tough courses, 9-9. I don't think he'll be that highly owned. It also helps that I'm fading Montgomery. Last week was the first week I faded him on this crazy run, so it did sting a little bit, but I mean, I still had so many guys in the top 10, it didn't really affect me that much. I think he's a great player. I do think short game's important here, and I think he'll continue to putt awesome. Like, I just think he's a good putter. So it's not that I think he's just going to all of a sudden start putting bad, but it's just opportunity cost for me. So no Montgomery. I've not decided what I'm doing with Jason Day. I think he's going to be an X for me, but I don't mind the play at all. He's been playing so well. He might be back, honestly, and it's a tough course. So give me the veteran guy. Off on Mav. I know he's played great, has great history here, but I mean, I just feel like he's just due to break hearts. That's what he does. Sahith, I like Sahith. He's a boomer bust. Like, you're either going to be really, really happy or pissed. That's the kind of play I like. That's the kind of thing I do. McCarthy, good short game. Short game is important here. He's good on tough tracks. Give me Denny. I feel like he might be lower on deal because he pissed a lot of people off at the end of last year. Grillo, I think the putter magic is done, and short game is important here. So I don't trust him on these greens. I'm going to pass. Damon, I would love him to get steamed up. I faded him last week and it didn't hurt me that bad. I mean, it stung a little bit, but I'll be off. I like Neesmith. How far are we going down here? I'm sorry. That's it, right?
The 9K range. That's it. So it's good. Don't go to Neesmith. I just want to make sure on that first part. I'm talking in chat too. Our guy Harry is in there again, but yeah, I agree with him. He says, Wise is getting steamed a bit. I said, if by a bit you mean a lot, you're correct. Again, he looks very popular.
I don't like a chalk Wise. I don't like a chalk Wise.
We didn't last week either, but again, if you go to last week, what was it? A 15th place. Now, what was he last week? 10-2? I think he was 10,200 last week, if I'm not mistaken. So either way, again, at these price tags, you don't need them to do X. We talk about this all the time as well, but you'd want a little bit more than that when the other guys around him or below him came through and crushed. So he was not needed last week at all. And that could be the case again this week. The thing about Wise, again, it goes back to both. Actually, I'll tie him in with McNeely. I'm not hating on these plays. I'm just saying it goes a lot with what they did here the last 2 years. Wise, 26th and 11th. McNeely, 19th and 20th. Now, McNeely, the argument could be made, look at him, 10th, 18th, 12th, 10th. You go to Wise, 15th, 6th, 64th, 13th, and 15th way back when. What's the difference between, besides the fact they haven't played here last year or the year before for a guy like Montgomery? Montgomery is 10th, 13th, 15th, 9th, 3rd in the same range and has played more than Wise went 15th, 6th, and 64th. But Wise did well here last year. I get it, and he'll rate out better on other sites and things like that. But my point being, then you attach 20 to 25% ownership to it, this is the exact same spot. It's either him or McNeely that have the ownership attached to them this week that are just like Hoagie last week. And I said this on this show last week. We talked about Hoagie, very safe, had the recent form, had the results, all that. But what was the real difference between him and Taylor Montgomery for what have you done for me lately? And if you're like me and you care a lot more about recent form, which I do, and if you think a guy can keep it up, I had this conversation with Kenny last night about Taylor Montgomery and the putter. I don't think he's ever going to lose the putter. Is he going to gain 5+ strokes at every event? Probably not. But when he drops down to 2 or 1.5, who's to say he doesn't find the ball striking that week, or he's not even better around the green or off the tee, which are two other skill sets that he has. So, and he's not getting the ownership. Like I see Montgomery right now somewhere in 10 to 13 range.
He has the length for this course too. I mean, the course is long and he has length. So like you can play that. What if he just kills the ball and he's accurate as hell all week?
I think it's definitely a thing. I mean, to me, you could definitely play him. So I got no problem with that. Day, I'm a little bit interested. I know it's, can hurt you. It's painful, but 3 straight good events, 21st, 11th, and 8th. Price is the worry there at 9,500. I think I can find guys down below that I would just as happily play. So we'll see how that shakes out. But, for this range, not as much love. One guy, though, that stood out to me was Sahith. Yes. Again, we'll see if he gets steamed at all. But another guy, boom or bust. I'm not expecting, when I build my lineup, I'm expecting him to boom. If he doesn't, those lineups are just dead to me. Who cares? But you look at him, 67th, 5th, miscut, 6th. That's Homa-esque, right? And maybe when he gets a win, it'll become Homa-esque too, and we'll see him break through. He's had multiple close calls, like a Davis Riley, like a Sam Burns. Sam Burns before he actually won. Riley hasn't got there yet. We'll get to him later. But point being, we've been saying all swing season, like with Davis Riley, we would expect Sahith to pop a win at one of these spots. This to me could be a spot. So I don't hate him for large field for MME. Not a guy I would really risk. I don't think it's sort of my higher dollar single entry stuff. But you could. I just don't feel as strong about it wanting to put that much money on the take. I put my money where my mouth is if I do love it. And he's not one that I love for that. But going down, not much else here for me, Kurt. I think the 8K range has a lot more play. So who do you like in this 8K range?
So I mentioned Neesmith.
Yeah.
I also I wasn't going to play Siwoo because I'm worried about the greens, but I don't know. The putter could come back. I think he likes the new putter he has. He hasn't been that awful with it. So if I am going to fade, if I think Wise is getting too chalky, I'm just want to do maybe pay up for Hideki and go more of a guy or just fall down to Siwoo. I don't think Siwoo over Wise is that terrible. I mean, maybe it is, but still, I'm saving a lot. Noreen, no. Putnam's been good to me. I don't know if I want to pay this price. He does fit this course and everything, but I really like Pendrith and Riley. I'm sure you do too. Pendrith can crush the ball. Length's important here. Well, not too important, but it's so long that I'm going to say it's important. I think his upside is always there. Same thing with Riley. I think a win is coming. I'll just keep playing those two. I just love the talent. Hadwin, I like on tough tracks, so I don't hate Hadwin. And then Mitchell, I wasn't on Mitchell until I saw how well he's done on tough tracks, and he also hits the ball long as shit. So I like some Mitchell there, and to round it out, I like more too. So I think I might just fade the 4.9K range. I like a lot of guys in here.
Well, that was going to be my take, and I know my guy Jim Steele was in here earlier asking about 2 9.7K guys and above, play your lineups that way. That's again another thing I don't commit to. I don't say a rule where I have to do that because I'll do that in some lineups for sure. It makes perfect sense. You could start with Scotty, go down and pick your guy, whether it's Taylor Montgomery or if you want to put in some Scotty Finau lineups. It's totally up to you. I'm saying that I would set up different lineups so I don't get all the same roster construction. But one of the ways I like to do it, and then I see here again this week, Kurt, because what we just talked about is that a lot of the guys in the 8K, I could say are as good or better, at least to me, as the 9K range, and ownership factors in their favor as well, because it looks like it's going a bit overlooked. You could start with Scotty and drop right down into this 8K range and play a couple guys in there, and then not even have to worry about going outside the 7K range. That to me, for something like single entry, I like a lot because, you got Scotty like everybody else. He's even higher owned in single entry, but they probably have him with Wise or McNeely or Grillo or Joel Damon or something like that. And you just completely skip that. And there's FOMO that's associated with that where people have a fear of missing out. But, this guy in the 9K range is going to crush. Maybe. But if he doesn't, you put yourself in a better spot. So I definitely like that too. In this range, a lot of guys. So I'll talk about him. We talked in the chat a little bit, but Siwoo, profiles you just mentioned, he profiles the same to me as a Sahith in the sense of boom or bust. You go look at his current form, even 52nd, 45th, but 8th and a 5th with it as well. And then Harry brought it up in the chat, short game. That's the other thing I was going to comment on. He has a very strong short game that can come in handy here. If it does, you're going to want to have some Siwoo in your lineups. Again, know that it's risky, but at least with him, to my point on Sahith earlier, it's again another few $100 savings that you could head down to. So I like that going down to him here. Noren, another guy on these tougher courses that I don't mind having. And again, he's shown up some. I got to try and find him here, but I think, 42nd, 37th, 44th, 36th, at least very consistent. It doesn't give you the highest upside, But when he's just above the average price, it's not like he's going to be your guy you need to win. The guy I do like, though, and it's funny, he's only $100 more than what Henley was last week in this exact same spot. And man, he's getting steamed a little. He missed the cut here last year, hasn't done much lately, but Taylor Pendrith just pops for me. You know, again, he's going to get some steam, but we said this last week about Henley, and what did Henley end up at? 12% or something? Like I thought he was going to be
like 11.5 maybe.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be 20%. I thought like the ownership projections were wrong. It's just they weren't. With Pendrith here, you go back and look too, and he's got the results, like 4th in ball striking over the last 50, top 20 in approach, birdies are better, DK scoring, which not saying this is a scoring course, so you need that, but you still have to score somewhere to get to -10 or -15 or 13.
He's up there in tough courses as well. He's up there also.
Well, that's what I was just going to add. He's also up there in bogey avoidance. All the stuff for around the green, the par 4 scoring is still middle of the pack. So I don't hate it. Again, we're talking average price, just above at 8,500. So even if he's up to 15, that's where I'm saying I'm still going to get different elsewhere. I have him good up to about 18%. Again, get different somewhere else in your lineup. You can play. You saw it last week. Scotty, 22. Joel Damon was, what was he, 19, I think, in the big $20. Those were your two high-owned guys. The other 4 spots, you got different in it, with Henley at 12%. If Pendrith is at 15%, he's fine. If he's at 25, I don't love it as much, but I'm just saying that's what you got to weigh into your stuff. I don't see it happening because, again, people are playing that 9K range. They're going back down below. It's just where these guys get squeezed, or it's at least squeezed in the fact that they get held in check. They don't get to 25 because they can't, because of what's above and below. And that's what we want to see. So I'm going to put them at like 13 in my stuff, and just to see as a starting point, maybe 14 to be safe. And I still have him here as a really great play in this range. I like Keith Mitchell as well down at the bottom. And then I was going to go against you a little bit on Munoz.
I knew you would.
Quite the same as you. I see him, top 50, last 50 rounds. He's top in ball striking, approach, DK scoring, top 10 in bogey avoidance, top 20 in 3-putt avoidance. So, I mean, he's even got the ability there. And he hasn't been doing well lately. But again, another guy, 56th, 40th, 36th, 35th, 46th. I don't want that out of him this week. But those weeks as well as I do, he's a couple strokes either way from a miscut or a top 20. Would I take the top 20 if he can get it for me this week at 8,200? Absolutely. So everything for me lines up there. And again, he looks to be coming in lower owned as well. Anybody else in this 8K range you want to talk about before we go to the 7s?
I feel like Munoz is becoming like Gary Wooden. Like, you like him at scoring track, you like him at hard track. I mean, it's just like,
yeah, he is.
I always play him, but I was just going to be off this week. But I mean, I am going to live in this range, so I don't hate it. I like Adam Hadwin and Riley better, and I like Taylor Moore better. But I mean, and Mitchell too. This is like, I like other guys like above and below him. But I mean, who knows? I might get a sprinkle.
I got to make note too. So last week I screwed up. I didn't bet Riley. I said, of course, he's going to win this week. I bet him this week. I did bet him. He played better last week. He's been so consistency. I'm seeing too high of an ownership number on him right now. I'm seeing a lot of people. He's a Texas boy, so people are wanting to get on him in Houston this week, and all these factors that at 8,400, he's showing up higher owned than Pendrith for me right now. We'll see. But here's my point. Even if it balanced out, I got Pendrith better than him. So it's whatever you see it as. I'm probably not going to play Riley this week. I'll bet him. I did bet him. I talked about last night. I already bet him outright. And 50-1 was the number I got. So keep that in mind. I'm not missing out on the bet if he wins. But I think in this range, all those other guys I mentioned are all solid plays. You don't have to go there, but you could if you wanted to. He's definitely a fine play. I like the other ones better, and you can't play everyone in this range. So go ahead.
This Patrick Rogers run right now is really hurting me because I refuse to play him, and I'm still not going to. He does do well at tough courses, so if you've been riding it, I'd say just stick on Patrick Rogers. I like Harris English. I always kind of play him. I don't think it's a smash play, but I will like him again. I think he has decent upside. Hughes, I'm actually on the Canadians this week, so I don't hate the Canadians this week. Good short game, 7,700. I don't have too much in the high sevens, but it's like the mid-range I'm okay with. So I got some Hughes. Will Gordon, my boy, I got to keep going back. I like him. 3rd last week. I'll keep riding this wave. Smalley, I like his irons, so I'll go some Smalley. Dean Burmeister, man, I'm going to keep playing my guy. Aaron Wright hurt me too much. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with him. Haven't decided. But another guy, I think the last guy I like down here is Adam Long. I don't like him. I always talk shit about him. Can you hear that vacuum?
I hear you cleaning, lady.
God dang it. Okay.
You told me before the show you would have her in the house, and
yeah,
not much you can do, man. Just keep rolling.
Right.
People know you got to have a clean place.
Exactly.
Looking to hit that workbench.
I can't do it myself.
To bring them back, right? You got to be able to bring them back to a clean spot. So it's all good.
So Aaron Rye, I'm going to keep playing him. You don't have to. It's just my kind of guy. Justin Sully finally made a cut. So I'm not going to play him here, but it's nice to see my guy finally make a cut. Sepp Straka does not look good on tough courses. I like Adam Long, of course, like I said. Sig just, I really kind of did thought he would be the Will Gordon play of the week. I think Birdie or Harry mentioned that. Justin Lauer seems a little bit cheap here, so don't mind that. Luke List can crush the ball. Actually doesn't do bad on long courses, which surprised me. That's about it. Steele, I don't mind your Steele call. I heard that. I mean, it seems like a really, really good deal for Steele, especially my build that I started with Scotty and Pendrith. It kind of puts you can go get Steele and still kind of have like a lot of salary. So I like that.
Yep.
I think that's gonna do it for this range. What do you got? Oh,
I'm glad you went the whole range. I got a lot of
Jaeger. Our boy Jaeger.
What about him?
Gotta play Jaeger, dude. The guy is so good. Come on.
Do you?
Huh?
You got to play him?
Gotta play him.
Yeah, you got to play him. You're right. You're right. I don't think you're right about some guys at the top. Let's disagree some here. Harris English, no, but just so I don't put my foot in my mouth. I mean, it is true. I'm not playing him, but I can tell you this: you won't see him in my pool. But same argument can be made for him that those 32nd, 40th, 28th, 2 strokes either way from bad to very good. So I get it why you're there. I just think he's bad for the price and the range. So that's the only reason, but I get it. And then the guys, and I don't like Mackenzie Hughes. I might have liked him a little last night. Things changed a day later. It makes sense. It's interesting that he won just 2 events ago, but it feels like everybody picked up on that. And here's the thing, 7K range, too loaded, man, way too loaded. So it's like, you just have to make some decisions in here and pick your spots, but there's way too many other guys. Sorry guys, I'm losing my voice a little this week too. So I just put a cough drop in, but Patrick Rogers, here's what I like, Kurt, with that I was going to say. Remember I just told you what the single entry route that I like with Scheffler and some 8K guys? You can't play these guys up top here when you do that. And Rogers, Burmeister, Mackenzie Hughes, Will Gordon, all these guys don't look very good to me. Like they're fine, however you use them differently. I'm saying, but I'm happy that my single entry will skip this range entirely and actually won't have FOMO because I don't love the plays anyway. I love that my build skips this range. Now, I bet Burmeister, I liked them a lot yesterday, but everyone in the chat, someone said, I forget who came in and said it here now. Someone said, DCC, Mean Dean is my guy. I'm going down in flames if need be. He's everybody's guy this week, I think. That's what I'm learning. I've read every article, Twitter, my friends hit me up, betting him, all this stuff. When someone's guy is their guy and everyone has the same guy, it usually doesn't go too well. Not a reason to fade completely, but I'm saying, again, when you look at this range, I would really cap your ownership on him. I wouldn't be looking to get overweight on him. I'm not too worried, but that's how you could do it. I just don't do it that way. Like I said, I want to play it a little bit differently, so I'm not going to do that. I like Smalley with you. I like Hodges with you. I think Rogers is another one to worry about. Like Dean, they both rate very well, but when you attach the ownership and what's around them, it becomes a little worse. Wyndham Clark, I do like that play at the top at 7,900. Who else here? Luke List, I'll play. Again, we saw him win. Where was it last year? Oh, shoot. Over Willie Z in the playoff. Where was that? Start of the season. Now I got to look this up because it's going to drive me crazy. Luke List won.
Oh.
Torrey Pines?
It was on the tip of my tongue and then it left.
Yeah, it was Torrey Pines. Yeah, anyway, 15 under winning score. So example, not saying he's that guy right now. He's actually, again, 58, 22nd, 73rd. He got 11th here last year. Cool. Good to see, but a very good ball striker. It could come through. So I'm not playing a bunch of this guy. I'm just giving you my examples. The guy you said that I love and still do is Brendan Steele, of course. Definitely like him here at 7,200. Just fits this course profile very well. Doesn't seem to be getting any steam at all. Martin Laird, another guy just like that to me that fits the mold quite well. Then like you get into that mix again, like do you go back to Lipsky? People like Mark Hubbard, they always play him. Jaeger for me and Woodland at the bottom, the other two that I like quite a bit. So there's some guys in here, man, not as many as you might think, but if I just named 8 or 9, 10, and I sprinkle in 3 or 4 more, there's 15 guys in your pool. You put in 5 or 6 in the 8K range, there's 20. You put in 2 or 3 in the 9s and get some different roster constructions and some wave stacking and stuff there. You put in Scotty at the top, and then you put in 4 or 5 in the 6K range. There's a nice pool to build out for this week where you got 30 to 40 guys. You get some different constructions. You build it out accordingly once you have your pool and go from there. So continue on. Take us into the 6K range, Kurt.
So just fair warning, like I don't look at ownerships until tomorrow night. So like Tambo said, I'm not going to play a chalky 7-8 guy. I'm not going to play a chalky Mackenzie Hughes. And by chalky, I just mean like if he, like what he says is the construction, it's leading people to this range. I have I mean, of course I'm fading Rogers. Of course I'm fading English, Hughes, Gordon. I actually might play Gordon. I like him. But yeah, I'm not playing those guys at chalk. I mean, there's just no point. If they're 10% or even like 8 and I can get someone for 4 around here, I'm not doing that. Absolutely not. So there we go, down to 7K. I'm glad you brought that up because I'm not even going to mess with that now if he's going to be.
It's to each their own. I'm just saying you still have to,
I agree.
If you like what a guy's been doing. Like
I don't like him that much.
Will Gordon has been playing good golf. So if you like that, stick with him. He can be the guy that you use as higher ownership and get different elsewhere in your lineup. But it's just also, that's why I don't fade just because of ownership. People always say, oh, he's too owned, get off. That's not the truth. If I think that there's other guys around him that are the same to me and are coming in at 1 or 2% or 4% or whatever, I'm okay with just making that pivot and living with it because I'm not going to lose sleep next week because, I didn't play Will Gordon at 14% owned. Like that ain't going to do it for me. Like I'm not going to be in big trouble because of that. If it happens, we move on. That's why there's still one more week of the swing season next week. You can get it back there, but I'm not going to worry about it too much in a spot like that. So definitely keep in mind the guys that you like, play them and use that stuff accordingly because like Matthew Neesmith, who you brought up earlier, 9th, 2nd, and 9th, it's hard to go away. The stats look good. He's getting 12 to 13% ownership, but you don't need to go off of him. It's just maybe you don't go all in on him or overweight on him or whatever that might be. So you guys can pick your spots. Like I said, I do perfectly love that the upper 7K range is where I think a lot of people are going because their roster construction is different than mine. And I'd rather get the guys in the 8K range and then the guys at the bottom of the 7K range. It's just what I like.
Yeah. So I feel like they just got a live example of what you've taught me. And that's just like, play a guy if you like him. So I said, like, I'm not going to play a chalky Hughes and Rogers, all that stuff, but I like Gordon enough to where I will play him. So like that, they just got a live example of that right there. And that's what you taught me. So Will Gordon, I like him enough. I'm going to stay on him, even at the ownership. But the other two guys, if I'm meh on him, I'm not going to play him. So that's a great example. Glad you brought that up. Sub 7. Let's scroll my little tiny ass mouse. Down here, I'm going to be going after a lot of putters. So short game's big here. So putting and short game as well. Let's see. So Chesson Hadley starts us off. The guy's a great putter. Does good on hard tracks. I'm in for that. Nick Taylor, same thing. Benny On, I think Kenny Kim said, I don't need that much of a reason to play an Asian, but he said he plays good in the wind. I know the wind's not going to be as strong, but hey, I don't need that much of a reason to play an Asian. I'm going to keep playing a lot of down here. You kind of play your guys. Svensson's been absolutely dog shit. I'm going to keep playing him. Don't care. Ben Griffin, good putter. I like him. We'll go there. Smotherman, dog shit. Don't care. He's my guy. I play him. I think I saw CT Pan plays good on tough tracks, and he's an Asian, so I don't need that much convincing. Let me double check that. Nothing comes up. Oh, sorry. There we go. And Pan. Are you saying Pam or Pan? There's a silent N. Nothing coming up. All right, can't see that. So yeah, I probably still will be on him anyways. Doesn't matter. John Hunt, same thing. MJ Defoe. I don't know if this is a great course fit. We like him because he's pin seeking, but I just think the guy's super talented and his irons are really well. So I will have some Defoe. Callum Tarrant, can we talk about how bad he's playing? It's bad.
There's not much to say, is there?
It's so bad. So bad. And then Austin Cook, good putter. I'll play him. Ben Martin, he's the rookie who has the good putter, I believe. So I will play him. Might be him mistaking him with Ben Griffin, but I'm pretty sure they're both good putters. So I like them. I believe that's it for me down here. I don't have as strong a conviction as I did with Merritt last week, but I'm gonna try to find someone that really sticks out the most. You can go ahead and start.
Yeah, mine won't take long. I think you have a lot of guys down here, and I don't have nearly as many, at least at the bottom. Here's what I always say, though, and I'll repeat it again. Maybe someone just joining us for the first time, and I apologize, too. I didn't ask for the likes, you guys. If you guys haven't hit it yet, please hit that like button for us. Hit that subscribe. It helps us out a ton here on the channel, but just trying to keep the voice long enough to roll through here and be ready for tomorrow's NBA show, of course. But, Kurt, I think the $6,800 range, we talk about this all the time in this show, they all could be 7K. So 6,800 and up, when you've got Hoffman, Marty Dow, Fratelli, Svensson, Nick Taylor, Ryder, Palmer, all those guys could all be 7K. It's just a product of the pricing. So when I'm not as high on that upper 7K range, you can probably tell where my builds are going. It's where I land in this range a bunch. So Palmer, Fratelli, guys like that stand out for me, I'm going to have more of. And that's why when people are like, oh, you can't just play 35% and match the field on the guy up top. What if I have 10% of a guy that's 1% down here? I have plenty of leverage built into my lineups. It's just in different places. So there's an example, again, that you can do that. I actually don't love at all, really much at all, I should say, below. I like play your guys. Joseph Bramlett. Yeah, I'll be in on him. Michael Glidgic, I was playing him at 8,100 and up a few weeks ago. So at 64, no problem. And then I just got the email as we were sitting here. Two more guys at the bottom. One was already there at 6,100, Augusto Nunez. The other guy just got added, your boy, Sung You'll Know, just got added in at 6,100. Got no problem going there as well. So anybody else down here that you like? Yeah, I don't mind Austin Cook. The chat just brought him up.
Yeah, he's going to
think about it. Not someone I'm like rushing to get into my lineups, but you can go there.
He will be my Troy Merritt call of the week. Fairways gained, Austin Cook.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say Sung You'll Know.
Oh, Sung You'll Know. I mean,
you're just playing him, but go ahead.
Oh, yeah, always, for sure. But Austin Cook, 14th in fairways gained, good drives gained, short game, he's top 20, putting, he's top 11. So many reasons you don't need much for a guy that's 64th down here. Tough track, not too much scoring. Give me a good putter, 6,400. He'll be my Troy. I mean, obviously Troy Merritt's a much higher class golfer. I mean, not much, but he has a lot more experience than Austin Cook. But Austin Cook will be my cheap play down here. I totally forgot that. I mean, No's not in my pool yet. I'm glad you see it here.
He just got added to the pool. The email came out 10 minutes ago?
He can be a little crazy off the tee. I will say that, but I think his putter will save his ass. And for 66K, whatever the hell he is, don't mind. Nunez, I've been on all year, and 6'1". What has he done?
I was looking up your boy Brandon Matthews, long off the tee.
Long off the tee, but he can't do anything else.
Yes, that's right.
Terrible.
Nunez has not been playing well. Yeah, I might X him. I've just been on him.
I think
here's the thing. Sung You'll Know saved me because I want to play some of him, even though it's not like he's that much better. The fact that he shot a 62 and went super low. I know it's a way easier course to cue in, but got to be feeling a little bit of confidence to roll into the event. So I would rather just play him than Nunez down there if you're playing anybody. And it's not like I'm going crazy in this range. So I like him quite a bit too. So that's fine.
So I wasn't on Nunez, but I'm pretty sure I was talking to my friend earlier in the year about these rookies. And I said, I'm going to like Nunez on tough tracks.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure this will be the toughest they've seen. So I think you mentioned, I wasn't going to do it, but damn it, you mentioned his name. And I think I might have to
stick to my so much. Yeah. He's went on the Corn Ferry stuff back in July, for example, 2nd, 5th, 3rd, 7th, 9th, 7th, 12th, just a bunch of good finishes there, but nothing at all really lately. The Bermuda 67th, it wasn't good. His stats have not been good. I really struggled with it. It was not good last week. So Billy, we talked about Neesmith, man. We gave an exact example. And he does have tons of talent, Harry. You're right. One of the better guys coming off the Corn Ferry Tour. Neesmith, we said 9th, 2nd, and 9th coming in, 46th here last year. And we said you could play him if you wanted to there, even with the ownership, because at 8,900, he's sort of right there with Joel Damon and some of the other guys. So Neesmith is fine, even with steam. He's still a guy that you could go to there. It's just if you want to play guys below him too, it's up to you. So anybody else at all, Kurt, you want to talk about in the 6K range or for this week?
No one down here. Robbie Shelton, the stats look terrible on the stuff that I'm pinpointing this week. What are you doing with Robbie Shelton? Because I like the young kid, but man, some of the stats that I'm monitoring, he is not high in any of them.
Yeah, he's all right. The problem is, like I said, I got my guy Steele there and other guys too. So
I like List more.
This is
too,
where I will say too, in the swing season, it's worked out well for me. And I know you've had some good weeks as well, but people just play too many guys, right? Because they need to get all their guys. Like they need to get every single one of them in. Now, if you're going to actually commit to it and say, I'm going to have that smaller pool, commit to my guys and use them in that pool, then that's fine. But I actually think people extend their pools and they get to their 30 or 40. And then they all of a sudden go, oh, I forgot about this guy. Oh, I want. What if that guy hits 2 this week? Or, oh, I remember this guy's name. Let me play him too. And the next thing you know, you got 45 or 50 guys and you've thinned yourself out in other places. So you can't play everybody. Up to you if you want to play him. I'm not too interested in Robbie Shelton this week.
Not either. I like Lose Gliss more. My magic number, I know you don't like to have a magic number, but I feel really comfortable around 38.
38, so specific. It's slate dependent too, right? If you're playing more of a guy up top, you may be willing to sprinkle more at the bottom because you want 10% of all these guys with your 100% lock on Scheffler. I understand everyone does it different, but when people ask me that, like I've seen 94-man pools win from very sharp players. I've seen 18-man pools win from other sharp players. So it's all what you want to do. A lot of it too has to do with in golf of like, if you want to get some money back or not. Some people are comfortable losing it all. So when they have the big week, they do win it all. Others want to get 60% of their money back or 40% of their money back and have a bullet or two up top where they had a sweat. Like it's all your own personal choice. We've got some good strategies for it. I think we've talked through them all. Final thoughts from you, Kurt, before we get out of here?
Just to mention, I know you're about to do some more promos. So like if you do sign up for a month or a week, guys, take advantage of the all sports one price, like dabble in other sports. I've had so many people who come over to our EuroLeague streets, be like, I just signed up, never played EuroLeague, and they'll win 1,000 and they'll pay for their subscription off a sport they never thought they'd play. Take advantage of all sports one price.
Yeah, I agree. Always. We talk about that plenty. People ask like winning at NBA. How do you do it? Well, follow the guys on our site and guys and girls that are super sharp at what they do. Pay attention to it. Look at the core plays where that is when they're putting their favorite plays of the week. For example, last week on the site, my core plays were Scotty Scheffler, Russell Henley, and David Lipsky. All three of those guys I used in a bunch of lineups together, had 2 of them at the top as the week ran out. One of the members caught on to the same lineup build couldn't miss it. Basically, if you looked at my tiers, put my core tiers is where we do our favorite player in each range. If you did that, you basically had the same lineup as me. So get over to the site. That's just for golf. To Kurt's point, you can do it on every other sport. You can do whatever you want. And our partnership with SaberSim. So if you're looking to finally get an optimizer or a way to do it, I say this all the time. People are so overwhelmed with optimizers, and I get it. But you can't learn if you don't practice, first off. Second off, everyone thinks, oh, you only need an optimizer. I'm only doing 5 to 6 lineups a week. But are you picking the 5 or 6? You're hand building 5 or 6 lineups. That's good too, and it's fun and it's fine. It worked last night for our guy Homebrew in NFL, listening to the shows, building a hand build, winning $500,000. You can do that, but he's also a member. He talked about looking at Big T's player pool. He talked about checking out the other stuff on the site that goes with it. That's the key, is trying to put it all together. But the optimizer can help you if you take the stuff from the sheets, plug it into the optimizer, build. Yeah, you've got 100 lineups or 20 lineups or whatever you want in front of you, but you can also look and see, okay, I call it virtual hand builds, where I don't like this one. It's gonna land me on Burmeister this week, who I don't want. So now I X him out, build the best ones without Burmeister, compare the projections. Okay, I like this one. I'm going to use it for single entry. It has these guys I like. It has these features of a construction I like. And then you use that and then I hand enter it myself even for the single entry. Sometimes that's how I'll do it. I'll have it in front of me on the screen and go, okay, that's the one I'm picking. Enter it in here on my phone. So it's a great site to check it all out. SaberSim partnership is awesome. If you guys haven't done it yet, like I said, get over to runpuresports.com. The time to join is now. That's going to do it for this week, though. We appreciate you guys joining us. Hit that like button on the way out, or if you're watching this at a later time, helps us out, spread the exposure and engagement. We appreciate you. For Kurt, for Simon behind the scenes, I'm Toe Tag and Tambo. Simon, get us out of here, man.